I'm Daniela Cambone, and you're watching In the Lead with Jon Nadler for the week of May 30th. Jon, it's all about the PGMs this morning, all doing very well. And could it be all thanks to BMW, which saw record first quarter sales?
Well, yes, that's a great pun, but I would say that the ultimate driving machine is now driving the PGM complex to fairly strong heights here in terms of price. We've seen about a 3% bump in the price of palladium this morning, primarily on a confluence of factors on the supply and demand side. And I think the primary bit of information here that is very relevant is the fact that Standard Bank PLC analysts have pegged a shortfall in the platinum market for this year of as much as potentially 1.6 million ounces. That's a sizable amount, and one which obviously the market players are taking into account with this morning's price gains.
Okay, Jon, and how much of a role is the retail investor playing in the PGM market right now?
There is definite price strength here, driven by a confluence of retail investment as well as hedge fund participation. Obviously, some ETFs, I'm sure, are behind this. But clearly, when you look at what the news have been, which is to say that on the automotive front, the markets are very optimistic that the larger than anticipated gain in Japanese industrial output in April is certainly going to be a contributor to strong automotive-related demand for platinum group metals. Adding to that, of course, are question marks surrounding the reliability of supplies out of South Africa and Russia, which continue to play into this market.
Jon, so if I look across the board today, platinum is up $32, palladium 26, and rhodium a whopping $170. But when we speak about catalytic converters, it seems that we often only talk about the demand for palladium and platinum. Do you think that rhodium is overlooked?
Well, you could say that to a certain extent it had been overlooked when it was languishing just under the $2,000 mark. And of course, once the realization came in that, reports, for instance, that BMW sold its best number of vehicles in Q1 ever, and that Nissan might actually sell in 2011 its, highest number of cars ever, that all came into play into the platinum, palladium, and rhodium complex this morning. You have to bear in mind, however, that when rhodium moves, it really moves, and we've seen that type of manifestation circa 3 years ago when prices rocketed to, $10,000 plus. So outsized moves in that group of metals, specifically in rhodium, shouldn't be discounted because it doesn't take a lot of money to be pumped into a very small market, such as these markets are, to make for spectacular gains in prices.
Jon, when we talk about PGMs, we have to talk about South Africa, largest producer of the metals in the world, and they've been experiencing labor strife, power supply issues, and their winter has only just begun. How much of this will add more pressure to the PGM market?
Well, it could add upward pressure because, in effect, there's three principal factors that PGM group market watchers are really focused on. First and foremost, South Africa. And of course, labor strife and power supply issues continue to dominate the scene down there. The state utility hasn't been able to really supply power reliably to the mining firms. Neither have the mining firms been able to complete self-sustaining on-site power production capabilities. The third component that I think PGM group players are keenly intent on watching as we go forward, of course, is the level of Russian palladium supplies. Last year, we all heard stories about the inadequacy of state-owned, palladium sales to the market. That turned out not to be the case. Russia was, in fact, able to supply about 1 million ounces of palladium into the market. And this year, of course, despite the assertions by Norilsk that perhaps Russian stockpiles, state-owned stockpiles, have dwindled to practically nothing, there's still expectation that the sales level of palladium into the global marketplace will remain adequate. 2012, however, is shaping up as a large question mark from Russia. So, as we go forward, we have to see, because basically on the other side, we have obviously robust demand for automobiles, despite what the sales numbers from the US might be this week, which I don't think will be all that spectacular. But on a global basis, as you could see by the results posted by BMW and then the expectations of Nissan, the car sector is looking like it's rolling along.
All right, Jon, so we'll see you again next week for another edition of In the Lead, where we will finally be able to film on the same location. We'll both be in Vancouver for the Vancouver Cambridge House Show.
Indeed, we'll be covering the fundamentals picture in gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. All on stage, all at the Cambridge House conference, which we expect will be heavily attended this year. And we look forward to being there.
Excellent, Jon. We look forward to it as well. Please email me your comments and questions at newsfeedback@kitco.com. Thank you for watching.